And they keep doing this annoying thing where it's not like YouTube where you put it up and they go, oh, there's a load of copyright things. Spotify goes, oh, that's you good to go. And then about 48 hours later they go, oh, that episode's deleted because there's a Mr. Blobby song in it.
Well, we come to you from the year 2025. As we're recording just now, you'll be watching this in the year 2026.
How is it?
What's it like?
Still gone downhill?
2026, of course, famously will be known in the future as the year of disclosure. CVXX
you get stuff lined up.
Will be on the front line for disclosure. No disclosure of...
Oh, right, the things you've done.
No, disclosure of human significance, massive significance to civilization. Obviously, Guft and CVXX will be front and centre, frontline reporting on that stuff if it does come to fruition.
Well, we've mentioned Guft Industries. Can I just take this opportunity? You should probably take this opportunity as well to beg for likes and subscriptions. Please like and subscribe to this content.
Please like and subscribe and share. If you have friends who are of our kind of generation, I mean, what's going on? They should be watching this. Where else are they going to see people talking about?
The guys that are watching the show just keep repeatedly saying, why have you not got more views? And I've not got an answer for them.
We've not got an answer.
We're going to have to bounce it back to you and say, could you please like and subscribe so that...
It's either just
that
the people don't... Either people don't know about it or it's because it's rotten.
Aye.
That's the only two.
I can't psychologically, because I'm like looking for work and stuff now as well, I kind of psychologically handle that it isn't alright. Because I'd put time into it. So if I'm putting all that time into it and it's still rotten, what am I doing?
But I can process it being rotten. I can deal with that because I've done a lot of rotten
like
things.
That though? You throw that out like, I never really tried. It was rotten. I'm still brilliant, but you can do that. I can't do that.
I don't know. Anyway, so here it is. It's 1994. We're in now. This is 1994 part 1.
17
years old.
16 years old. I can legally, but...
Sweet 16.
Sweet 16. But I've chosen
no
to.
You can consent to sex.
But I don't. I've chosen not to consent.
Yeah, it was your decision.
For quite a few years.
It was your decision. You were a voluntary celibate.
I mean, you remember.
You weren't an incel, you were a volcel at the time.
Is that what that's called?
Yeah,
I don't know the terms. But you remember how handsome I was, how beautiful
Very handsome.
People would say to me, you should be in a boy band. I'm not making that up.
Ryan was a very good looking boy. Ryan and his sister, you were both like good
People
looking.
wouldn't ask me, have you got a girlfriend? They would say, how many girlfriends have you got? And I would say none. I'm staying in and playing games and listening to Nirvana.
He was a good looking guy. Still is a good looking guy, I would say.
Thanks very much.
Let's take this opportunity actually, because this staging does look a wee bit like a dating thing. So do you want to do a wee...
The pink halo.
Where?
Renew. Have I got one?
A wee pink. You want to do a wee dating... You want to do a wee request like
that lot?
My name is... Yeah, well, to the women that watch the show. He's saying no women watch the show.
I think the definition of woman gets a bit
right,
blurry.
Okay, right. Well, so, you know, obviously this is Trump's America, so things
if you want it, come and get it. How's that?
Beautiful. There we go. So yeah, they were a very good looking family. Still a very good looking family.
Whose family?
Your family.
Well, thanks very much.
And yeah, that was why I gravitated towards them. I was always keeping an eye out for a good looking wee boys when I was at school. Knowing that way, just because I wanted to be around attractive people.
Keep it for the year of disclosure.
I'm no the type of guy. There's a lot of guys I know that their friend group are all ugly because they want to be the good looking one. But I want to be, when I'm hitting the town, when we're all hitting the town dressed up, or Springburn Shopping Centre dressed up as the cast of Takeshi Kitano's Sonatine, to go to the city bakeries for chips and gravy. Mm-hmm. I want to be surrounded by good looking guys. Uh-huh. Okay. Good. Would this so I would have been 17, you would have been 16. Had we met yet? We're not met yet. We had met, right?
I'm pretty sure we have.
Is this near the time then when we're going to Springburn Shopping Centre?
I'm out of school next year, I think. So you? What?
Is this near the time where we're going to Springburn Shopping Centre?
I'm
for
sure.
Hannah's granny's messages.
We're going to need to get Hannah in at some point. No, I think we're close. 94, 95, I think. I'm sure I've got a job in Poundstretchers.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it might have been like £2.40 an hour or something, I'm sure it was. Because I was underage.
Right.
And we used to not have a minimum wage as well. I'm sure I have a part-time job in Poundstretchers.
Because if I'm 17, then... So what am I? Am I in 6th year?
I think so.
Jeez, oh man, listen, I had a fucking great time in 6th year.
It was good. Fifth and sixth. Well,
it was can you say, it was just all about...
The common room.
Listen, it was all about the...
See when you...
The P-U-S-S-Y is how I would put it. It was all about the pussy.
That was a bit far from me.
But yeah.
See when you learn to drive, when you're learning to drive, it might not be the same for everybody. This is what happened to me. I'm learning to drive and I'm going, this is a fucking chore. No, it's only a chore, it's an expensive chore. Not even know if I want to drive. It looks a hassle. The roads are fucking... And then you get your licence and you have the first time in the car by yourself and you're like, oh, fuck. Yeah. I can go anywhere I want with this thing. That's what 5th and 6th year with that common room was like.
Yeah, it was...
Like, oh my God,
I felt like...
We've got our head above the...
I remember teachers would put their heads into the common room and they would say things like, are you coming to class?
I remember Mr. Sweeney.
Are you coming to
Mr.
class?
Sweeney, this is a golden memory of the common room. Mr. Sweeney, who was the maths teacher in All Saints Secondary School, coming in searching for Robert because Robert's decided he's not going to maths, that he's going to stay in the common room. And we're sitting... Mind the table used to be quite far into the room, so we're sitting at the table. Mr. Sweeney pops his head in the door and goes, have you seen Robert? And you are standing behind the door. When Mr. Sweeney is at the door and we're like, no? And he just goes away.
Fucking beautiful, man. They were a days,
Being told by teachers in classrooms next to the common room to politely coming in and going, can you just keep the noise down a bit?
The lassies we were pursuing...
Here we go.
Had recently had a romantic encounter with the band Terrorvision.
My God, I'd forgotten about that.
So the band Terrorvision, that was about a terrible band, but they liked them. But I'm pretty sure they'd get halfway. These were men. Have I caused a trouble there? I've not caused it. I think it's just getting halfway someday. I don't think. And they were what? 17. They were 17. That was a different time, you know. So that's what we were competing with a rock band for the attention of these lassies at school, and somehow had some success.
It might have something to do with the fact that we were also quite interested in watching films and not always as interested in them. You know, I remember leaving All Saints Secondary once to go and watch, I don't know specifically remember what it was, it might have been a John Woo film or something, but leaving and them leaning out of the window, like shouting, but we were leaving the common room with them in the common room to go and watch films. But they were, I think they were a wee bit perturbed by it.
Because we were...
You need to play it cool
We were
sometimes.
literally too cool for school sometimes, weren't we? We were literally too cool for school.
Come on, for fuck's sake. Like and subscribe, for fuck's sake.
Literally too cool for school sometimes. Anyway, what fucking happened to us then? We get into computer games, not now we're sitting talking to you fucking arseholes.
No offence.
So 1994, any big events happening in 1994?
Headlines, you mean?
Just anything.
Something to do with Nelson Mandela. I'm going to
No, again, for fuck's sake, man.
I
feel like there's always fucking things going on with Nelson Mandela.
He's some fucking agent, by the way. Nelson Mandela. He's never out of the headlines.
He's like, what's he called? He's like Romesh Ranganathan, man.
I don't know who that is.
He's in everything.
This comic guy.
He's in everything.
He's in everything, but I don't know what he does. What am I talking about?
So what about Mandela? He got out. He's dead.
My tabs on the Oh no, they are. Hold on. Tab 1. It's no...
See if he had a file of facts, which I'm still holding on to my file of facts.
I know.
He would know this information already.
Nah, it's not my tabs on the button. I'm going to have to manually scroll, sorry, I'm so sorry.
I'm going to fill the space up by...
I've got so much information, it takes me fucking ages
We're going to tell us some information, because this is what I would call bad podcasting.
Oh, Superunknown's out, the Soundgarden album. I was a big fan of that. You probably know so much.
He's dead now, in a grunt.
Yes, that's sad. Hip hop out this year. Nas has got Illmatic.
All right, okay.
And
Granda, yep.
Biggie has got Ready to Die. It's just as well. Right, loads of music again. Loads and loads of music.
Tell us about them. What the fuck, man?
I'll just cut this bit out while I'm scrolling.
We asked Guft if it's all right if on the show Ryan just reads his tablet. If that's...
I'm so sorry.
What else have you got?
Here we go. Channel Tunnel's open.
Oh, the Channel Tunnel. Have you ever been in the Channel Tunnel?
No.
No, I've went through it. I went through it on a trip to Disneyland.
How was it?
It's just, you don't really notice anything. You're just in a tunnel. Yeah.
Good. Have you ever heard of a American guy? I think he might have been some kind of sportsman or something, called O.J. Simpson.
Yes.
Well,
The Juice.
one day the Juice went for a drive. He was just going for a fucking drive on the motorway, and the police decide we're going to probably because he's black. They've went, we're going to get 100 cars and we're going to chase him on this motorway. So that happened in 1994. Just out for a drive, sportsman the Juice. And the police just singled about. They said they killed his wife or something like that, but it turned out to be a
Was this in 1994?
The gloves didn't even fit.
One of the icons of American sports history, O.J. Simpson, on this tragic June day. Now, police radio is saying that Simpson has a gun at his head.
You
I remember
watching
watching him getting pursued down that motorway.
Obviously, I remember the footage, but
on the TV. I don't think I was watching it live or anything, but I remember watching it. Yeah. Well, nothing more to say about it, really. There's been telly shows made about it. There's been stories done about it. O.J. Simpson himself, sadly, will never get the truth because he is in the ground.
We'll never get the truth. Do you think he did it?
Did what?
Murder his wife?
Listen, the man was found innocent, so I don't want to put myself out there.
The gloves didn't fit, so I just can't get my head around it.
He definitely murdered his wife. He's a murderer. The murderer, O.J. Simpson. It's funny, that, isn't it? The Juice.
And yet he's still really good in the Naked Gun films.
He is good in that.
The National Lottery launches in 1994.
You've got to be in it to win it.
You play the National Lottery?
I think I played it a few times. When it first started, I thought this is an interesting novelty.
I think you should play it because you'd probably just fucking win it. You
Who, me?
You probably win.
What the fuck, man?
It's like that Xbox 360 raffle we went to about 20 years ago.
That's a time slip. Can I talk about that? Yeah, that's going to be a big moment. But the National Lottery is
2 weeks in a row recently, right? I've been playing it a few years.
Do you play it?
Yeah, only like I've got one set.
That surprises me. You don't seem like the type of guy who would play the National Lottery.
I didn't for years. I was for years. I was like, it's a mugs game. Yeah, it's a waste of money. But I only put one line.
Lucky dip on them, or do you have numbers?
I have numbers.
Oh, see, there's the trap. You're trapped now.
How come?
Because if there's a week comes you don't do the numbers and your numbers come up, you're fucking flinging yourself off the Erskine Bridge.
No, it's set up. It just does it by itself. I don't need to put it on.
It's like you subscribe almost.
It's just a direct debit.
Fuck.
So every draw my numbers are in, but 2 weeks in a row recently, right?
But you can't ever. What I'm saying is, you can't ever cancel that direct debit. You're trapped for life.
Oh, I see what you're saying, right? Aye.
You're trapped.
I wouldn't know unless the National Lottery are nasty enough to go. Oh, by the way, see the numbers you cancelled 7 years ago. Shouldn't have done that. 2 weeks in a row, I've had an email for the National Lottery, which has never happened before. Because I've had a lucky dip before. Dozens of times I've won a lucky dip. That's just your numbers get put into another draw.
Right, and how much?
How much was the email for?
No, how much would you win?
You don't win anything for a lucky drip. You just get
lucky drip.
You just get entered. Your numbers just get entered into for free. You just get a kind of extra go.
A lucky drip is when a wee bit of pish falls off your willy before you put it in your pants. That's what a lucky drip is. But what were the emails?
Doesn't happen often.
No outrage. What
so
were
the emails were basically, you've won something, you need to log into your account because we don't tell you. It's exactly.
My God.
So that's my face. I'm like, fucking, here we go. What's my login details? And we go, 30 quid of one.
Well,
next week the same thing happened though.
Jeez.
You've won something, you need to log into your account. So I go through it again. This might be it. 30 quid.
That's no bad though.
It's fine.
So has that
it's
covered
fine.
your year?
I wish they'd just tell you about
that 60 quid covered your year of how much is it a week?
Yeah. No, about 50 odd quid. It's every week, isn't it?
50 quid a week?
No, one line. So what is that? I don't even know, £1 or £2. I can't even remember.
Anyway, this is what you're listening to CVXX.
Please subscribe. For God's sake, what do you want?
Pay £1, look after your ticket, and an estimated £2 million could be yours.
It's you.
It could be you.
Let's get straight into some 1994 content.
Probably rude not to mention in 1994 the PlayStation has launched in Japan.
What's that?
The PlayStation.
Oh, well, let's have a wee think about that then.
we're going to have a look at a game that came out in the Japan launch of the PlayStation 1. Coming soon pinball game, it said on screen. They're selling their next game. I've got you covered because I can read Japanese. The name of this game is Hot Blooded Family. And here is the Hot Blooded Family. That is dad of the family, daughter of the family, and son of the family. Now, the plot of Hot Blooded Family is that some dastardly criminal organisation, has kidnapped the mom of Hot Blooded Family. So daughter, son and dad of Hot Blooded Family are out to get mom back from the baddie organisation. Somehow, she's a scientist. I think mom is a scientist. So somehow science is a bit mixed in. Jesus Christ, that's a bit extreme, is it no? Just shooting a guy at point blank with a fucking rifle. It's a bit violent. Because she's a scientist, they are able to tap into sciencey type stuff in this game. I'll be able to show you what I mean quite shortly. It starts off your usual fare. You're walking along the street, you're beating up hoodlums and stuff like that. You've done that before in Final Fight. You've done that before in many games, so no change there. Exploding barrels, par for the course. Every now and again you get to pick up like PlayStation 1s. That's quite a cool wee feature for a launch game, a PlayStation 1 launch game. But you're smashing up things, you're blowing up barrels, you're battering motors. You've done all of this before. Your energy bar is red and yellow. You've seen that before in Street Fighter games. Everything is as it should be in the Hot Blooded Family. And then you clear that first stage and you get to the next stage, which is inside a whale. And you're fighting mere hoodlums who, I'm not sure how they go inside the whale, but there's a load of hoodlums inside the whale. But on top of the hoodlums, you're fighting like water monsters or something. Like there's mutants and there's water monsters. I don't know how a hammer hurts a water monster. But that's what happens anyway, is you start fighting like Lovecraftian nightmares, quite colourfully dressed Lovecraftian nightmares. Boxing gloves on their tentacles. Hot Blooded Family. Listen, I think you should play it. That's me getting blown out of a blowhole with a whale. And as luck would have it, on top of the whale as well, there's also mere hoodlums and mere Lovecraftian nightmares waiting to fight me. But it's quite good fun. Not the most difficult game. Really good fun. Hot Blooded Family. It's a launch title for PlayStation 1. Who even knew? Hot Blooded Family. Back to the studio.
There you go, that was some PlayStation action there. Hey, PlayStation was cool. It's not cool yet, because when it launched in Japan, it was the whole cool movement into PlayStation doesn't really kick in properly until it.
You sure they didn't start off trying, oh, by the way, we're cool?
Well, it's pretty cool.
No, did they not have, I don't know if that's later after the launch, but I'm sure they had like PlayStations playing Wipeout and stuff like that in clubs and stuff.
I think that was a Merry Western launch notion of like Wipeout and dance music and all of that kind of stuff. I think that was Merry Western notion. I could be wrong, but it was for cool people. Well, us at the time. We were cool. In fact, we were too cool to be bothered about the PlayStation at the time, I would say. We were cooler than the fucking PlayStation.
Or the two lassies in the common room that just left.
Yeah.
And watch films.
We should get them on the show.
If they're still kicking a ball.
Who knows? Well, we do a bit of content.
Get into the meat.
Let's get in amongst it. Let's get into it now. Listen, do you know how it's such a good thing? No disrespect.
Should have mentioned as well, Guff Industries is obviously have a look at Robert again. Have a look at Robert.
What?
Guff Industries have sorted out a bit of sponsorship for the first time off the show. Here we go. It's coming back.
It's coming soon. Are you not glad we didn't end up with them?
What do you mean?
Imagine
I don't know.
Imagine we'd got them pregnant when we were like.
It was one each, by the way. The way you're saying it is
Yeah.
There wasn't any sword fighting going on.
And I don't
there.
mean any disrespect, but it's like, I much prefer the trajectory of my life,
Oh, I don't know about that for me.
Oh, God.
I don't know about that for me. I mean, I was fucking drinking, and
I know.
I've managed to get to 47. I don't even know if I have like any kind of career, or I don't even know what I'm.
But
So
that's
talk about
everybody. I feel
trajectory.
like everybody feels like that.
No, but I don't just feel like
I mean, I'm
demonstrating.
I'm very happy where I'm. Like, no career wise or anything like that, or within my own mind. I kind of hate myself most of the time, but certainly like who I ended up with in my wains and all that, I'm really, really happy with that. I really landed lucky with all that.
Right.
So that's great.
I didn't.
Would you go back and change the past?
Maybe I should
Even
have
if it
hooked up
affected
with-
my past?
Maybe if I'd got her pregnant. I mean, if I'd got her pregnant, that would have been a disaster.
But would you would you go back and change your past if you thought,
Like and
if I do
subscribe.
this, if I go back and change my past so that this thing happens, right? But it means that Rab never meets Jen, for example, or Rab never has like Hope and has his 3 other
Say
kids.
again, sorry, start again. If I make a different choice,
If you went back
that changes your stuff.
to then, and then it's butterfly effect, and it would change all my stuff as well.
I'm being a wee bit harsh on myself, maybe. I think so. No, I wouldn't.
No.
Because I think I mean, everybody has a different life experience, and I've experienced a very different, some very different stuff that you've experienced.
Oh, aye, for sure.
I'm just being a bit harsh on myself, I think, and playing down the strengths that I have.
Yeah, but I think on a psychological level,
Fucking good shoes.
you're in a far better.
No,
you're
oh,
a
fuck,
far
I
better
know.
man
I'm
than. No, but I think you're a far better than me.
It doesn't work like that.
I think in the, I would
It
like
doesn't
to
work
swap
like that,
some
but
of
you
my
need to answer
thoughts
your
for
emails
yours.
and treat people a wee bit better. You do need to do that. It doesn't work like that, 100%.
But I would like.
But this has been my intention for years. I meditate and stuff, don't I? I have like positive
Aye.
intentions. I go to a mental, psychological place that
But I had a meeting.
uncovered a lot of vulnerability and stuff, and
Yeah.
it means that I have a lot of difficulty with like harsh behaviour and things like that in people. No, so
But I had a meeting with Guft, and they said that meditation can let demons in.
you're scared of meditation. That's what it is.
Right. Anyways, welcome to
Feels
CVXX.
it.
Let's get into a bit of content, will we?
You choose
Let's talk about
sex, baby.
CAD file. CAD file. So CAD file is CAD file.
Now that you're saying it,
CAD
I
file.
thought I knew how to say it, but now that you're saying it,
How would you say it?
CAD file?
CAD file. Yeah.
No,
That's
just CAD file. Like
CAD file.
you've got a file on a CAD.
Oh, I don't know about that. CAD file is CAD file is was it ITV, BBC
ITV.
drama, mystery detective drama, starring Derek Jacobi as the
Definitely not Jacobi.
no, it's no Jacobi, as Brother Cadfile, who is a. How would you describe him? He's a brother. He's a monk. He is he makes potions. He's like an apothecary. He's like
is that what he is? You know, an alchemist?
An
Is that
apothecary, I think.
Right.
So he makes potions and tinctures. But he was also at one time
a soldier?
a soldier, a warrior in the
He's
Crusades.
a learned man, but he was also a soldier.
Yeah, and he's a God-fearing man now, and it's a TV show that's based on a series of books, and the episode that we watched, 1994 episode, was The Leper of St. Giles, which was written by Paul Pender.
My lord, going for a leper, my lord. Out of my way, vermin. Take the contagion out of my sight. Filthy lepers.
So Cadfile was one of the you would never at 16 years old sit
Is
and
this the
watch.
first? Have you seen this? Had you seen this?
Have I remember it?
Right, I remember it, but I don't.
I remember it, and I remember maybe watching bits and pieces, but I don't ever It's not like I sat and watched Cadfile when I was a wee guy.
No.
I remember as a young man, I thought this is maybe no for me, in a sense. But this episode is about, I'll quickly summarise, Cadfile is doing his thing with his potions and all of that, and they're in a barony. It's in this barony by St Giles, and this baron is getting married to this fine lady who has been brought by her uncle and aunt, and you know, to enhance their family, she's going to marry this niece of theirs after this baron who is a cruel baron.
Baldy as well.
Baldy.
To make it worse.
Cruel and baldy baron. And he has these squires who serve him, and one of these squires is in love with a lady, and she is in love with him. And the baron, my friends, ends up getting
done
murdered. And Cadfile's got to work out what's going on. So, first things first, what a cast.
Good. Sean Pertwee shows up at some point.
Sean Pertwee's in there. Derek Jacobi, of course, in the lead. You've got Jonathan Hyde is in there. You get Tara Fitzgerald is in there. There's also a young Danny Dyer in it.
I never spotted
at
that.
one point, yeah. And it is an impressive cast assembled of proper actors. What was your... And it was an hour and 15 minutes long, this content.
Which means with adverts it must have been easy hour and a half, maybe even a wee bit more.
Hour and a half easy, maybe up to 2 hours, I don't know, with the adverts.
Well, 3 minutes in, my first note is, this is great. So there's that. So I'm enjoying it.
Well, here's the thing, right? You've got great performances, you've got a great cast.
Must be a treat for the actors to come in, the smaller actors, to work with somebody like Jacobi, because he's fucking good.
He's incredible. Now, there's something about this show that struck me, which was that it doesn't look super expensive, but it looks expensive enough.
Yeah, by TV terms in those days, I think it's probably...
It looks like...
a fair whack.
Yeah, it looks... But the other thing as well is just the way this thing is shot. There's a weird thing. It's like, see if you were to make Cadfile the day, it would be all like kind of, I don't know, like CGI castles and all that, and it would be that it would have a sheen or a shine to it that is artificial feeling. Mm-hmm. And there's something about this kind of ITV drama, moderate budget TV that actually feels like, it feels more real, weirdly. It feels more like the costumes are not great and there's no all these big sweeping shots and all that, but it does like feel like you're in a wee town full of lepers, and it does feel so there's a kind of nice sense of authenticity about it, I thought, as well. There's a beautiful...
Some of the acting is a wee bit
Doctor Who.
A wee bit much.
A wee bit Doctor Who of the time. A wee bit theatrical.
Yeah, it's theatrical.
So this Tara Fitzgerald, who I'd kind of forgotten about a wee bit, but just a brilliant actor, and she is she's highborn, is the thing, and her uncle and aunt are pawning her off as a wife to this baron, right?
She will speak her words as taught.
Yeah, all that stuff. But Cadfile knew her grandfather. He fought like a lion in the Crusades, and there's all that stuff. There's wee hints at Cadfile. Him and all the lot of them took Jerusalem and all that. There's like, so even though what you're watching is like a small scale story, there's this sense of the sweep of history in it, which I really enjoyed. The fascinating thing about Cadfile is it's essentially forensic investigation he's doing, and at a time when that doesn't exist. Been doing a bit of reading recently about Jack the Ripper. I like today on a regular basis. I've always been a bit of I wouldn't say a fan of Jack the Ripper, but I've always been interested in the time. And constantly when you're reading about Jack the Ripper, you're kind of going, I mean, what fucking chance did they have? They didn't know anything about anything. You know what I mean? And it's interesting to watch something like Cadfile where you have this monk back in the days.
Is it From Hell? Sorry, I'm jumping here. Is it From Hell that Morecambe and Wise is playing on the telly?
Yeah, I think so.
Something happens where he's disposing of body parts or something, and there's some kind of rip.
There's a time slip.
Yeah, there's a time slip in From Hell.
There's a time slip in From Hell, without a doubt. And you feel that a wee bit when you're watching Cadfael. You feel that thing is like, this is cool. This is like, it's like something you would just see in any cop show, the new, or any kind of detective show, but transposed to this kind of time. And there's even the conventions of detective TV, or even something like House. So in Hugh Laurie's House, you would often see that another character... What?
In Hugh Laurie's House.
In Hugh Laurie's TV show House, you would often see his character House, another character would say something and it would make House go, oh, there's something I've no thought of. This happens in this episode of Cadfael where somebody else says something and he goes, what? Like that. And it's nice that you have...
I liked that conversation between Cadfael and that young guy.
Yeah.
I think it was a good scene.
Well, anytime...
I like the writing in it. He says things like, if it gives you ease, tell your tale.
Yeah, oi that. And it was...
It's not overly kind of like flowery, but it's
so the books were written by... A lot of this stuff is... Obviously, it's the teleplay is an adaptation of the book. And the books were written by Ellis Peters, which I didn't know until... And I knew it was Ellis Peters that wrote the book, but I didn't know until I did a wee bit of research watching this, that Ellis Peters wasn't a guy and was actually Edith Mary Pargeter.
What's that then? If it's not a guy, what is it?
It was a pen name for a woman who is into... So she was
I'm
like...
going to have to change my opinion on that show.
She took this historical approach to the right. So everything sounds spot on. The research sounds spot on. You're really, really invested in it. There's just an awful lot of nice... It's like this religious order seem like the goodies in it, didn't they? They seem these... And I believe Catholics, right? I think.
I dare say, we've only watched one episode, but I dare say there's room in the show for there being folk within the organisation that aren't as wholesome. Oh, we didn't see any of that in this episode.
I would imagine so, because I would imagine, because there was a time, I suppose, when you had this kind of order who would try and bring healing and bring hope and stuff like that, but then they would also, they would be trying to claim land and all that, and then it all gets sour. You know what I mean? This is the thing of the time, but it's full of beautiful stuff. It's full of Cadfael as well as a very progressive monk, I would say. No progressive, worldly.
I was shocked for a second there when he lied to somebody.
Yeah,
but then he crossed himself and apologised to God.
Yeah, he's a warrior, but he's progressive, he's philosophical.
He's a wino.
He's a thinker. He's, as he says, sometimes I like to put the sand of doubt into the oyster of my faith, which is something I think we can all learn from, about putting the sand of doubt into the oyster of your faith. I think we live in a time just now, it's one of the big problems.
People are just doubling down.
100%. People will never put the sand of doubt into the oyster of their faith in anything, and I think it's key. Anyway,
I liked it when Cadfael was asked, do you miss human love?
Yeah, there's lots of beautiful wee moments in it. The detective story is even good as well, and it also...
Because it was kind of silly. It was a silly thing. Yeah, it's a kind of silly sentence, but it was kind of pointing at he has this other love that he's tapping into.
Yeah,
you know what I mean,
yeah, but also that he has hinted that he has loved, and and I believe in the books it transpires that he has a son that we don't know about. But anyway, I quite fancy reading the books, by the way, after watching this, because I was thinking to myself, I bet you the books are smashing after this, because the detective story is simple, it's no convoluted or anything, but it all hangs together well and is a reasonable enough wee kind of twist that makes sense. But there's also a wee double...
Well, it doesn't, because I wasn't convinced. I don't know if I can talk about it without giving it away, but I don't know how capable that leper guy was. I know he was a fierce warrior in his day, but he's had leprosy for quite a long time.
But I mean...
Having said that, I've seen high-level jiu-jitsu guys who don't have all the limbs and stuff like that.
Well, Seagal doesn't look as if he's in the best of health. Have you seen? He's still flinging guys about. Have you seen these videos?
I saw the guys flying.
Steven Seagal, you need to show this. So even Seagal, at his progressed years and progressed belly size come out, he is still flinging these guys out without barely touching them.
Probably quite a lot of blood poisoning for all the hair pieces that he's had early years as well.
Without a doubt.
But he's a master, though. That's what practice gets you. You become a master.
Anyway, not to spoil anything, but there's a point where a character, and I don't want to. I'm hoping this is for the book. I don't want to, or if it's not for the book, then the guy adapting it, Paul Pender adapting it, will have written this himself. But I've got to imagine it's for the book because it's so beautiful. At the end, there's a character who is believed to be dead and wants to continue to be believed to be dead. And so the people who are asking for him, he says, tell them all is well with me, for with the dead, all is very well. Beautiful fucking stuff, man. There's beautiful dialogue all the way through it. And you've got Derek Jacobi's eyes filling up with tears.
Leave my bones and my legend alone. I'm a dead man.
Yes.
It's a pity it was set in Shrewsbury, though, but I mean, that's England, though. There's a lot of daft names in England.
There is a lot of
They
silly.
were mentioning Shrewsbury, and it was kind of making it a bit silly for me. There weren't a wee dramatic moments like with the dead, all is very well, I will come no more to Shrewsbury.
Oh, but
it's
I
still
know
good.
It's
but
kind of
still
beautiful, though, isn't it? But anyway, you've got Derek Jacobi just acting like fuck. He's just went, I'm going to be brilliant.
I'm going to be solid as a rock.
Solid as a rock. My eyes are going to fill up with tears, but no too much. And I'm going to smile, but no too much. And I'm going to project a goodness and a kind of quiet fierceness under the surface. Fucking tremendous. Anyway, I just felt like I could watch. I understand why back in the day people went, I'll watch this. I'll settle down and watch this every week with a cup of tea. And now I want to read the book. So that's Cadfael, 1994. Great stuff, I felt.
Mind and watch Claudius as well, now that we've mentioned Derek Jacobi.
Got to. Right, video games of 1994.
Let's have a look at video games.
Things are starting to hot up in the video game front. Let's take
Amazing
a look.
already, 1994, the Amiga's just... The sun is setting already.
The sun is... I mean, come on, the PlayStation's launched. What are you wanting? We hang about with a fucking Amiga. 3DO's been out for a year.
Oh my God, yeah.
You know, it's over. It's over. Commodore, you're cooked. Let's the future begin to go. Get that in a t-shirt. Here's a top tip. If you want to have Eye of the Beholder for the Super Nintendo, get the Japanese version, which has the much better cover, and then just buy a loose cartridge of the American version. And you're laughing. This is Eye of the Beholder on a Super Nintendo released in this year. As many of you will know, there is nothing Rab Florence of CVXX and Consolevania fame enjoys more than a game where you take some adventurers through a dungeon. And this is one of these games. This is Eye of the Beholder, for God's sake. It's considered one of the benchmark titles, one of the milestone titles of this genre. And for good reason, I'm going to say to you, for good reason. Even in this form on a Super Nintendo, on a home console, and not on a PC, which is where you would have normally played these games back in the day. Of course, I think myself and Ryan's main familiarity with this game comes from the Commodore Amiga, of course. But even on the Super Nintendo, you can sit and you can create your characters using your Super Nintendo controller to move a wee arrow about the screen and very gingerly insert the name of your character. I'm calling this guy Tash here because he's got a moustache. Bit of a ball ache, in truth, using the controller to move that arrow about, so real legends like myself will pull out the Super Nintendo mouse, which you can use on this title. So if that's not a selling point, I don't know what is. The chance to use your SNES mouse. Come on now. Now it's time for some full disclosure. I have played Eye of the Beholder many times in my life and have never completed it. This is one of the games I've never managed to complete. I would always play and get a fair ways in, but I've never managed to go the whole distance. And when recently I picked it back up on the Super Nintendo, I thought to myself, this time I'm going to find myself some hours to sit down and properly get through Eye of the Beholder start to finish, because I kind of feel it's something you should do, right? And in fact, when I was looking at it for CVXX on this occasion, I thought to myself, maybe this will be the time when I go all the way through to the finish. But I found actually when I started playing it that I kind of forgot how Eye of the Beholder even worked. I didn't have a clue what I was doing. My trick about buying the Japanese edition of the game with a Japanese manual made it a wee bit more complicated to work out exactly what I'm supposed to be clicking and what I'm supposed to be pressing. Ended up kind of walking in with the rank set up of guys and everything and just getting killed by wee rats and stuff like that. The usual thing that happens when you're rusty on a game of this type. So regardless of how shite I was when I was playing it, I was still thinking to myself about how wonderful the atmosphere of this game is, even with, you know, the Super Nintendo's kind of incessant music that plays through it. I try turning off the music for a period and then you've got that odd silence. My suggestion would be you maybe hire a wee string orchestra to come and stand beside your telly or something and play some nice fantasy music while you're trying to play the game, because this is a game that needs to be played. This is a game that deserves to be played, and like I said before, deserves to be finished, because it is, you know, when you turn it on again and play it again for the first time in a long time, and particularly using the mouse, you see there how easy it was for me to just pull that gem out of that wee alcove there. Easiest thing in the world. It's a joy to play with a mouse, and it's a joy to play one of the fundamental games in the genre, and probably one of the most important video games ever made. But be in no doubt, Eye of the Beholder has always been hard. It's always been a challenge, and it's always been the type of game you need to go in understanding what you're doing, what you're playing, what your objectives are. You need to take a wee bit of planning, make a map, all of that kind of stuff, old school stuff. What you can do is, for the sake of a telly show or a podcast, just stick it on and expect to be good at it right away, because you will fucking won't be.
Cool, that's me had a heart attack. For some reason, Sega and sports, for me, the two words don't sit together. Sega's fat guy, innit? Sorry, no offence, but Sega's fat guy, so what kind of sports is he then? Whew! Getting a sweat on. Getting a sweat on just listening to this music. It's about out of time. Try a different emulator. This one's all crackly. That's weird, isn't it? It's the summer of 1994. It's always summer in Daytona. It's Daytona, USA. I obviously can't figure out how to accelerate in this footage. Found it. Pretty straightforward controls in Daytona. There won't be any drifting, unfortunately, in my footage. This music is all out of time. The colours, the music, the drifting, which I can't do, it all combined to make a racing game that was like going on your holidays. There's many of them now. There's Outruns and there's Ridge Racers. You go to the arcade and you'd stick in, I can't even really remember if it would be like 10 or 20p, maybe 20p you'd stick in, and you'd get a tan for just the vibes. You'd get a suntan just for the vibes for Daytona USA. If I was to ask AI to give me like facts about this game, which I wouldn't do because it's unethical, but if I was to do that, the AI would point out things like, technical things like it runs at 60 frames a second. I don't know if this is 60 frames a second, but it did run at 60 frames a second, which was impressive, very impressive for the time. Technical things it would point out to you, mostly. But what survives for the game, and why the game hung around for as long as it did, because it was a really successful arcade machine for years, despite more advanced games coming out. Seemingly the soundtrack is sung by the composer. Seemingly. What is going on here? It's a waste of a credit there. That's a waste of a credit, not playing the game properly. So it might not look it for now, but it was a very slick experience. It's directed by the guy who went on to direct the Yakuza series, so he's got production values in mind. I wish I could show you the power slide, but I just can't figure it out with the controllers. I'm nearly there, but no, you're not getting it. It was a very cool and innovative thing, the power drifting. I think you would slide down like a couple of gears. Well, you know what a power drift is, don't you? I don't need to describe it to you. I can't show it to you, but you know what one is. You know, one thing that I didn't know about Daytona USA is that you can actually play 8-player. You can play 8-player. Sega designed the cabinet to be linked together.
so you could play up to 8 player. But who owns 8 Daytona USA cabinets, Sega? Apart from Rab Florence, who owns 8 Daytona USA cabinets? But it's busting the game. It's absolutely busting full of colour and sound and gameplay and vibes. It's just it's a full package. It's arcades when arcade was still a thing. If I had to explain arcade to a young person these days, I would hold this up as an example of what differentiated an arcade game for a console game of the time. It's a bright, exciting, loud, fun, what's other words? Vibrant experience. I just need to keep saying vibes. Daytona USA is just pure vibes. Just arcade perfect vibes. And I'm absolutely fucking shite at it. Back to the studio.
In 1994...
In
1994, there was released a comedy movie starring...
I've looked at loads of lists of 1994 films. This isn't on most of them.
There's some fascinating stories behind this, though. This movie stars Martin Short and Charles Grodin and Mary Steenburgen, who, by the way, I know you hate it when I do this, but she's
beautiful.
She's absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful. I had but does Mary Steenburgen exist in your mind as somebody before you watch Cliff? It's called Clifford. But she doesn't exist in my mind as like, oh, she was beautiful. But watching this, I was like, oh my God, she's beautiful, this woman. Now it's just because we're older men now. Yes.
And we also get to see Clifford's reaction there as well. So
and that sells
mirror it through.
That sells it.
Because I actually realised watching this film that like my own like sexual desire, it's a wee bit how I pictured it actually, is a wee bit like Clifford's face. A lot of teeth. Anyway, sorry, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Explain Clifford to us, Robert.
Clifford is a movie about a very badly behaved 10, I think. 10-year-old boy.
10.
And you might be wondering, well, who plays the 10-year-old boy? Martin Short plays the 10-year-old boy. So,
and you might be saying, but Martin Short's 40.
So
it doesn't matter, because he can just kneel down.
This dance then, called the Boomwa.
Time to turn off the videos.
Is an expression of their culture.
Okay, come on. Time to go to sleep.
Stefan felt that was a very cruel action, Uncle Martin.
Oh, will you tell Stefan that it's 2 o'clock in the morning and we have to get up very early because tomorrow we're going to Dinosaur World.
Oh, you're the bestest uncle in the whole wide world.
So I don't know. This is a very tricky film to talk about because, Ryan, is this a bad movie?
Fuck. Is it a bad movie? I mean, it's worth seeing.
This is the conflict I have when I'm talking about Clifford.
Sometimes a bad movie is worth seeing. I wouldn't call it a bad movie.
You have to. By the way, you have to go because some of you will listen to this or watch this and you won't have heard of this. You won't believe. Go and Google
Well,
a
it's
picture.
not on any lists.
Go and Google and have a look at a picture of Martin Short as Clifford.
A picture doesn't do it, I don't think.
It doesn't do it justice. The picture doesn't squint. So, right. So
a picture doesn't talk to its dinosaur.
Let's get into this. It starts in the year 2050 for one thing, right? Which is something I'd forgotten, right? It starts in the year 2050 and Clifford is a priest now. He's an old man. He's a priest.
Martin Short's playing an old man.
Right, so I don't know. It's a weird. That's a weird thing. Immediately a weird thing that your lead character becomes a priest is an odd. That strikes me as odd, right? And then he tells a story to a boy who's a bad boy, he's saying, I used to be a bad boy once as well. And he's telling a story. This is why he's telling the story about when he used to be a bad boy. And then it cuts and he is playing a 10-year-old boy in shorts. And to be fair, to be fair, this is one of the things that struck me, right? He was kind of running about our age, right? A wee bit younger.
I was like 40.
Right. I couldn't have pulled that off.
Also, like,
I couldn't have pulled that off in the slightest.
Also, like 1994, Martin Short's he's like, I think he's in sketch show and stuff like on TV, so he's doing really, really well. He's a big star.
Something interesting though here before we go any further. This movie was made in 1990.
Was it?
Yes.
Oh, that's why he looks so young.
So this movie was made in 1990, right? Check when Martin Short was born. So let's get this right. It wasn't released until 1994. There's a 4-year gap, right? And that was because the company that made Clifford went bankrupt, I believe, and there was a wee bit of thing. So there was a 4-year delay.
Born in 1950.
So he was 40 years old, right, when he did. Now, I couldn't have fucking pulled this off in the slightest. I would, like, there's no movie company that went, Rab Florence can pull this off. Let's go for it. Or you. I don't think you could have pulled it off either. Even with a wig on.
I could have done the baby portion, probably, quite convincingly.
But he kind of sometimes slightly pulls it off.
What do you mean by pull it off, though? Because if you're talking about being convincingly playing a 10-year-old boy, that's not what he's doing.
No, he doesn't. So he's playing...
We're barely into the film. I've not got a timestamp, but I run about between 4 minutes and 15 minutes. I've written that young Clifford is a psycho.
It is like... It's like somebody's killed the wee boy and is pretending to be him. That's what it does. At no point do you kind of go, that's a wee boy.
No, there's nothing childlike about
him. That's a man.
His motivations are adult.
His desires are adult. Well, apart from the fact the story is he wants to go to this dinosaur theme park. That's kind of the whole point of the movie.
Yeah.
Is that, and this is kind of what I liked about it, is that Wednesday think like that. Wednesday kind of go, I want to do this, and that's all I'm focused on. It doesn't matter what else is happening around me or how it's affecting anybody else. I want to do that thing, and I'm going to go on about this and no shut up about it until it happens.
Until the end of the film.
And that is genuinely Clifford's trajectory in this movie is, I want to go to that dinosaur theme park, and everything is focused towards that. Everything he does is focused towards that, from the beginning to the end. For the moment on the plane where he says to his dad, looks like Daddy's going to have a big stroke, he shouts, which a Wayne would never shout, looks like Daddy's going to have a big stroke, right? For that point forward, when Clifford first... So the story is, Charles Grodin is playing Clifford's uncle. And I would just want to say, Charles Grodin is one of my favourite actors of all time. I think he's brilliant in everything, and he is also brilliant in this.
He is. He's really good.
He's brilliant in this. See, Martin Short's performance is so fucking unhinged, and the whole concept of Martin Short's existence in this film is so unhinged or fucking coke fueled by producers or fucking who knows what, that Charles Grodin has got to kind of carry this entire fucking thing on his back, right? And he pulls it off beautifully well because he's just an amazing hand. But he brings Clifford in, and he has a woman, Sarah, who he's having a relationship with called Mary, who's played by Mary Steenburgen. She's played by Mary Steenburgen. And when Clifford first sees Mary Steenburgen,
I mean, you say his whole motivation is the dino park that he wants to go to, but he is sidetracked when he sees Sarah.
Yeah, he also wants her to love him as well.
10 years old. He's 10 years old.
He wants her to love him, but there's immediately almost like a sinister weirdness in this film. There's a scene in the bedroom where Charles Grodin's character and Martin
Before
Clifford,
they even meet, there's a scene in the cabin on the aeroplane when Clifford has turned the engines off of the aeroplane.
Yeah.
This 10-year-old boy. He's hugging the air stewardess, but his head is at breast height.
Aye.
So there's stuff going on straight away.
And in this bedroom scene where his uncle Clifford is saying, you wouldn't lie to me, Uncle Martin, would you? And there's a threatening energy. There's a kind of sinister, threatening energy about it. And that kind of immediately comes in. There's also fourth wall, Brett, and Clifford will also quite often squint his eye. Look into the lens and squint his eyes. See, the thing is, this is a bad movie, right? There's no doubt. You can't. I know you can kind of go, well, is it bad if you're actually entertained and stuff like that? But it is a bad movie. But I was fucking really howling laughing at points during it. You know, like when
you would be.
When Charles Grodin takes Clifford to see her in the school, and he's lifting Clifford up at the window and stuff like that. Wee moments. There's loads of funny moments, and you know, when Charles Grodin drinks that Tabasco and stuff and all that stuff at the party. And
that scene with the way the people around the dinner table react to him accidentally putting lipstick on his lips.
Yeah.
Like, it just goes on. It's like a minute or something. Like people are losing their mind because he's got some lipstick on.
No, there's a moment in this film where Charles Grodin has a heart-to-heart with Clifford and talks about how when he was a kid, he wanted to go to this theme park and he was thinking, and I think they missed a trick there.
What do you mean?
Because I think they should have shown a flashback and it should have been Charles Grodin playing himself when he was 10. I was like, they really... And I started to get hyper-focused on that, about the fact they didn't do that with Charles Grodin. And I'll explain what my hyper-focus was about in a minute. There's a scene in this where Charles Grodin... So it gets to the point where Charles Grodin's character fucking hates Clifford. And Clifford kind of hates him, and there's a real... It's stressful and it's big and it's all that and it's violent. And there's a wonderful scene that's about as funny as anything you'll watch, really, where Charles Grodin's saying, look at me like a human boy, like act like a...
If you do one thing that I find weird, which is, you know, like your middle name, see, you're doing it right now. Can you just act like a human boy for 1 minute here? Look at me like a person. You can't do it for more than a few seconds. Look at me like a human boy. Don't mess around with me.
And it's almost like an acknowledgement that this just isn't right. The casting isn't right.
The first time Clifford stays with Sarah, after he's managed to get his uncle arrested, he managed to spend the night in Sarah's house, and she comes in and he's already eating breakfast, and he says he was up at 5 a.m. But in a really kind of not normal way says, I don't sleep as much as you would imagine.
There's all these
There's too many things that are only childlike.
There's fascinating moments.
It's cocaine. I think it's cocaine.
Well, this is the thing. I think to myself, okay, let's imagine it was a wee boy playing Clifford, and let's imagine this movie. It would have been... You would have had to look at a 10-year-old wee boy lying tied up in the flare, pretending that he'd been abducted by Hell's Angels and all that. You would have to, you know what I mean? You would have to be looking at that. So it only works. The film only works if it's a grown man playing Clifford, because only a grown man would say some of the things. But then, what trick are they trying to say? It's such a baffling fucking film. But there's also just, you know... It gets you into such a state of hysteria almost as well. Martin Short has spoken about this film and said when it was a screening of this film, he said like people were fucking dying watching it. He saw critics who then gave it terrible reviews, howling laughing at it. And this is the weird thing. I think the thing with this film is you watch it and you go, this is all wrong. But fucking God help you if you're going to try not to laugh at some of this stuff. You know what I mean? It's like even with things like Charles Grodin's boss in it, who's played by Dabney Coleman, who's fucking brilliant, says he looks like shit at one point because he's been so psychologically destroyed by Clifford. The boss says you look like shit, and even him saying you look like Willie Nelson made me fucking howl laughing, because I was in such a state of hysteria by that point. But I was such a state of hysteria. But it has a weird ending, Ryan. Because all that stuff at the dinosaur theme park is crap, isn't it? No, it's no crap. This is the most amazing theme park you've ever seen in your life as well. This is like an astonishing theme park.
Hello, I'm Teddy the pterodactyl. I'd turn back if I were you.
The ride is amazing, Ryan. And it's matte paintings.
I figure it looks like they paid for everything. It looks like they're actually built all of this.
There's money spent on it.
They've spent money on it.
There's money spent on it. Right, here's the problem with this film. The problem with this film is this. It was made in 1990.
Right, I didn't know that.
It was released in...
What happened there?
It was released in 1994, right?
Aye.
The space between 1990 and 1994 on a cultural
4
level
years.
is, yeah, well done, but it's also enormous. It's enormous, that space.
Right.
Because a film made in 1990 is a film written in 89, right?
You talking about transsexual jokes?
No, I'm not talking about transsexual jokes. What I'm talking about is there is an energy in comedy in 1988, 1989.
Yeah, the zaniness is dissipated, isn't it?
There is no... Well, I wouldn't even go so far as to say that, because in 1994, you're talking about... This is the era of things like Dumb and Dumber, right?
Yeah.
So it gets more extreme in 1994, right? So comedy's more extreme in 1994. Dumb and Dumber's like incredibly, you got the diarrhea stuff. It's incredibly crude. It's incredibly kind of out there, right? I think if Clifford had not been made in 1990, but had been made in 1994, and they'd really leaned into how mental it was, if they'd really leaned into, like, this is a fucking guy playing this, if they'd leaned into it being crude, if they'd leaned into it being outrageous, you can imagine a version of this film that has maybe like a Jim Carrey in it or something that is really kind of extreme and out there. But the problem is, it's in that kind of family comedy area. It's just no...
That's what makes it so bizarre and confusing. That's why critics go to see it and then go,
who's it for?
Aye, who's going to what?
Who's it for?
Who do I recommend this to?
Kids are going to be horrified. Kids are going to be kind of... No horrified, but kids are going to be going, that's an old man. Adults are going, what the fuck am I meant to... There's nothing to relate this to because the character of Clifford isn't like a boy or like a man. No. He's like some kind of not normal creature.
I wrote demon.
Like a demon. And he's no anybody who would ever turn into the priest character that's at the end either.
No.
Almost like, was that added? Was that like added in a reshoot or fucking, you know what I mean? It feels...
With this film, who knows?
But I just kind of feel like there's a
My sneeze. Oh, sorry.
There's a great film in this, I think, and it's worth watching just for.
Great film.
I think if it had been made 4 years later and had Mary that Dumb and Dumber energy,
a great film that wins an Oscar. Are you saying there's a version of this film that wins an Oscar?
No. Dumb and Dumber's a great film. You know, that's not going to win an Oscar. You can have a great kind of extreme comedy, and like I said, that 1994 version of Clifford would have went. Charles Grodin, he would have had Charles Grodin going, when I was a young boy, and it would have went back and you'd have seen Charles Grodin in wee shots and all that, playing a wee hangmate, and would have leaned right into how fucking mental the conceit was.
Boy.
Clifford would have met a wee lassie who was played by a woman in it, and they would have leaned into it. But there's just, it's neither here nor there, and because of that, it becomes a weird curiosity that is a 1994 artefact, but is actually, I would like to propose, a strange remnant of the 1980s.
It makes sense now that you say that.
Charles Grodin's character is called Martin Daniels. So there's a wee CVXX link there because Martin Daniels was also the name of Paul Daniels' magician's son. Martin Daniels.
It's a loose connection, but
it's not that loose. Right, more video game action.
See that dino ride having a hyperdrive? That didn't seem like a good idea.
Why would you put a hyperdrive in it?
Hyperdrive?
Yeah.
A dino ride.
That makes it all explode and all that and could kill the people that are on it.
Yeah. Design flaw.
It is, listen, it is fucking funny. See when Charles Grodin gets bailed out of the jail, right? And he comes home and he's trying to pretend that he's calm and that he loves Clifford, but he's also at the same time trying to kind of strangle Clifford and stuff. It is funny as fuck. Charles Grodin is superb in this. And I would say to you, honestly, just look at the films that Charles Grodin's in and watch all of them. I think any film that Charles Grodin is in is worth watching, whether you're talking about The fucking Lonely Guy with Steve Martin, whether you're talking about Midnight Run, which is fucking incredible. Charles Grodin is the man.
I'm so worried.
You've been worried. There he is. Hi, Clifford. You okay?
Hi, Uncle Martin. How was your stay in penitentiary? Did you meet any interesting hoodlums?
Video games?
We'll probably know
Oh, sorry.
Before then, just because we mentioned Dumb and Dumber, I don't think we're going to cover Dumb and Dumber in 1994. We haven't decided what else film-wise we're going to cover for the year, but I don't think we'll do Dumb and Dumber.
Did I like Dumb and Dumber?
That was the first film I ever went to the cinema to see with Robert Florence, was Dumb and Dumber, and I've never seen anything before or since like it. You couldn't stay in your seat, like you were standing up like a chimp or something, like something out of Planet of the Apes. You were up out of your seat, slapping your thigh, laughing. You had a rare time.
I had a great. I
enjoyed it as well.
I remember sliding out of my chair. I was laughing so much. I remember being on
that bit. I'm sure one of the highlights. There's plenty, but the bit where they've been on the moped for hours, driving on a moped, and Jeff Daniels stands up and Jim Carrey's stuck to him because Jim Carrey's pissed on the moped and it's frozen them together.
This is what I mean. It's just there's an extreme that it goes to that was kind of like a fresh energy at the time. Like now, there's been a million films about people that have had like big, long fucking bouts of diarrhea and all that. You know what I mean? All these fucking films that follow. But Dumb and Dumber just had an energy about it that pulled things out to an extreme without being like tasteless either. You know what I mean? Anyway, great
games. Movie. What are you saying?
Games.
Is that what you were saying?
Listen, it's 1994 and not to be crude, right? But didn't see that coming. The arse has fallen out of the arse is in the process of falling out of the arcade industry. But let's see what's hanging on. This best of best, that looks like Arnold. Don't think Arnold is aware that he's in this game. But this is a South Korean fighting game, 2D fighting game, called Best of Best, made by Sun A Games, South Korean. Now, I've heard this music definitely before. The backgrounds look similar, the character designs look similar, but it's fine. Collision detection's where it should be. Don't know why so many jets are landing and taking off on this aircraft hangar while there's a fist fight happening. Ooh. It's decent, but you wouldn't have spent money on it in an arcade. You wouldn't do that. The battle is not always to the strong. That's true. Now, Miss Bingo apparently is an arcade machine. It's obviously the hook of it is to uncover digitised photos of scantily clad ladies. Now, how do you play that in an arcade? Because you don't need a bit of privacy. Anyway, I'm thinking about it too much. I've never played Miss Bingo, but that's an arcade game for 1994. And here's another one. It's called Blomby Car. Blomby, B-L-O-M-B-Y car. Blomby Car. No, I've never heard it either. It's a rally game, and it's an isometric rally game that's heavily inspired by World Rally, which came out the year before. It's an Italian game, and it's got like digitised photographic backgrounds that are quite nice to look at. Gameplay wise, practically doesn't even exist gameplay. You're really not doing much other than admiring the game and noticing how bloody difficult it is because it's got a time check system. So I've crashed. I crashed my Blomby car. I've crashed again. Twice I've crashed my Blomby car. I don't know what Blomby car means. Yeah, it's frighteningly difficult because you've got hardly any input when it comes to playing the game. So you need to get things pretty perfect, which I'm currently managing to do somehow. Fucking Blomby car. Listen to all the drums. Is that no magic? Incredible amount of drums in space. Arcadia. I do actually remember. And it's quite interesting because it is from 1994, but it's quite a traditional shoot 'em up. A style that's been around for a while, but just very sturdy and very enjoyable. A very pleasurable game to attempt to reach a flow state in. You can try to find an existence in the only space on the screen where there are any explosions or bullets happening. Never seen anybody say that Arcadia is their favourite shoot 'em up of all time, but it's definitely a solid contender. Very solid gameplay, great graphics, lots of drums in the music. Well worth a play. As I say, it feels earlier than 1994, but it is in fact 1994. Arcadia. That's a title screen, isn't it? That's a logo. Art and Magic, Belgian company, made this game. Cheese Chase. No, I've never heard of Cheese Chase, let alone seen it in an arcade. I've never. This is apparently was in the arcade. Cheese Chase. That's the main character on the title screen there. His name's Pee-wee. Pee-wee for Cheese Chase. Now, it's basically just like a Pac-Man kind of evolution type deal. Puzzle game. You're chasing the cheese. There's baddies. I don't even know what that is. A beetle? Is it a beetle? You'd think a mouse would be able to deal with a beetle. Run out of time. You do actually have a bit of combat in this later on. You can Pee-wee. That's the guy with the big ears. Picks up hammers, boxing gloves and stuff later on in the game. So you're not completely defenceless against whatever the fuck that is that's chasing me. Some kind of insect. You collect cheese and you escape the maze. Apparently this was out in the arcade. Cheese Chase. Ran out of time again. Nothing's been divulged in the story as to why you appear to be in hell. It's appear to be in like a lava filled kind of hellscape while you're chasing the cheese. It looks quite warm where your cheese melts in warm temperatures. I'm thinking about it too much. Cheese Chase. I don't like it. Just to be clear, Cheese Chase. I'm no. It looks similar to like Donkey Kong Country. It looks great graphics wise. Doesn't play like a Donkey Kong game. Would you like to know an interesting fact before I go about Cheese Chase? It was actually released, published by National Tournament Centre, because National Tournament Centre specialised in tournament-ready arcade cabinets. That meant that they were keeping track of the high scores and stuff through a network through the cabinet. So it was kind of like a very primitive, small scale internet of its time. Cheese Chase. Cheese Chase.
I am going to hazard a guess that you guys out there have never heard of a game called Libble, Rabble. Of course, I'm forgetting that you're all fucking dorks, you might have. This is a wee special thing it comes with, by the way. It's like a wee blue disc that goes on top of the buttons of your SNES controller. Why? Because you use both the D-pad and almost like a second D-pad to control the game. I'll explain it in a minute. First of all, I want to explain the story to you. It's these two farmers who are farming mushrooms, right? Now, I'm just going to assume, just looking at these guys, that it's psychedelic magic mushrooms they're farming. And they have real trouble when they go to try and gather in these mushrooms because the mushrooms kind of run about. Like I said, there's some kind of psychedelic thing happening here. And these wee fat creatures here with the hoods are always getting in the way and kind of disrupting the harvesting of the mushrooms anyway. They meet this magical wizard guy, like I said, it's like psychedelic. And this wizard guy gives them a tool, a special tool called a Libble Rabble, which makes it easier for them to get all the mushrooms and drugs. It's drug stuff, I think. Anyway, after that introduction, I bet you weren't expecting that Libble Rabble was a fucking amazing arcade game that I'm going to have a lot of trouble explaining to you how it works. I'm going to really struggle here. So, see these two arrows on the screen? So you're going to see a red arrow and a blue arrow, right, moving around. Now, see that red arrow? That's the D-pad on the SNES controller. And see the blue arrow? That's the 4 buttons on the SNES controller, so that's kind of the other D-pad, right? So it's like a 2 D-pad game, it's like a twin stick game before that was even a thing, right? And what you're supposed to do is you move both these arrows at the same time to try and create discrete areas around baddies and around mushrooms to capture them, right? You following me so far? So the wire, right, the string that stretches between the two arrows is the Libble Rabble. And I want you to just look at the screen here and see all the wee red dots. I kind of think of them almost as like pegs, but I suppose in a gardening and harvesting sense they would probably be more like poles that are sticking out the ground or something, right? So if you imagine the red arrow is the red farmer and the blue arrow is the blue farmer, we are stretching the Libble Rabble around these posts in the field to net and capture mushrooms and baddies. We're doing the harvesting, and as you can see, as we make these shapes, the green turns to yellow and then it turns to brown, and that's you moving down through the layers of the earth as you use your Libble Rabble. Are you following me? Because my God, this game is really hard to explain. There's a wee blue baddie that cuts around and he can bite right through your Libble Rabble line. And that, it doesn't kill you or anything. It just means that your Libble Rabble line then just kind of pops up again in a straight A to B between your Libble and your Rabble. I should say to you, by the way, that the Libble is the red arrow because the red arrow is on the left. It's your left D-pad. And so the good way to think about it is Libble for left and Rabble for right. So your Libble's on your left and your Rabble's on your right when your Libble Rabble and your Libble Rabble are in the... Jesus Christ. There's something else going on here, by the way, with Libble Rabble. There's also treasure. There's treasure in the field as well. So a treasure chest will flash up in the field, and then what you need to do is you need to get your Libble Rabble and make a square around where the treasure is in the field, and that will dig it up 1 layer's worth, and then you need to dig it again, and when you do that, all these wee creatures will jump out of it, and then you want to use your Libble Rabble to capture the creatures as they come out as well. And as the screens progress, the treasure gets a wee bit harder to find. You have to do a wee bit of process of elimination, removing layers for the screen as you move around trying to find the treasure. Oh, and I should mention, of course, like, you don't want to drive either of your arrows into one of the baddies. If one of your arrows touches one of the baddies, it will be game over. All you really need to do to progress from one season to the next is to get all the mushrooms. It's the mushrooms you want to collect. As long as you get the mushrooms, that's good. But really, when you're Libble Rabbling, you want to get as many bonuses and treasures and stuff like that as you can. You know, you want to go for a high score. And despite all this confusion, as I've explained this is one of my favourite arcade games. I think this is an absolute masterpiece of game design. And the first time you play Libble Rabble, you have this amazing experience where it feels like you're trying to pat your head and rub your belly at the same time. But as you play it and as you keep playing it, you get into this nice flow state starts to kick in as you start to wrap around things and you start to score the big points. Really hard game to explain. It's something you really need to experience to understand it. But I love this Super Nintendo version. It's one of my favourite pieces in my collection, I would say, and just an incredibly original game. Libble Rabble. Left Libble, Rabble, right. Our final piece of content from 1994, part 1.
It should be the final piece, shouldn't it?
It feels right, doesn't it?
It's the end of the thing.
So this is a show my dad used to watch constantly, all the time. And I will admit, sometimes I would watch it, but sometimes I'd be kind of like, oh, for fuck's sake. Mm-hmm. Because, well, right, I mean, it's not really fair to say.
If you're young, you're going too fast. You can't. You're no the right frequency for it.
No. There was always an air of, this is fucking depressing, this coming on, but it is The Sky at Night.
Good evening. Ulysses, the solar polar probe, is now flying over the south pole of the sun.
Tell us about The Sky at Night, right?
In general, The Sky at Night is a show about space, presented by the great Patrick Stewart. He's a Sir?
Patrick Stewart?
Patrick Stewart, sorry. Patrick Moore. Mm-hmm. Is he a Sir? Is it Sir Patrick
I think so,
Moore?
yeah.
Sir Patrick Moore. And Patrick Moore basically just interviews people or sits in a studio and talks about stuff that's happening in space and all the latest findings for like telescopes and scientists for around the world.
That's how he used to describe it, actually. When the show started, they would say, now I'll tell you about all the new... What did you say? I can't even
Engage.
I can't even remember. Listen.
He talks about space. Patrick Moore talks about space. And he wears, honestly, the biggest suits you've ever seen on TV. It reminds me of, mind that Monty Python film where the guy is eating too much? And they're going, like, just 1 minute after 8. And then it explodes when he eats after 8. That's the way Patrick Moore's
That's how he dresses, isn't it? This show began in 1957.
Presented by him.
Presented by him. And it was presented by him right up until the year 2013, which made him, it still is the world's longest spell for a TV presenter, any show on the fucking planet Earth. just listen, I've had trouble, I've guffed in the past for that. 1957 to 2013. That is a long time. In this episode we watched, it's about the autumn sky. And it starts with some news, doesn't it? About new information for Galileo. There's a picture of Galileo at one point, and he says it's just an artist's impression.
I know. I get excited at first, and then he said it's just an
and he says it's inaccurate as well. It's an inaccurate artist's impression. That's there's something beautiful about that, isn't there? The fact they would go, this isn't what it looks like, but we'll fucking put it up anyway.
It's all we've got.
And there's some new information, some new images of the impact of a kind of meteor strike on Jupiter and stuff like that. So some really interesting stuff at the start of the episode. A discovery of a new galaxy behind the Milky Way as well that he talks about. This is massive stuff to be talking about on a wee show late at night.
All represented by really bloody images or artist impressions.
Or indeed drawings. Because he's talking about the autumn sky, and so the thing with the autumn sky is Orion's no there yet. It's not quite winter yet for that, and Venus is low in the sky, and Mars is in the morning, out in the morning pretty much. But he does say we get plenty of nice looks at Saturn and see Saturn real nice, and he says in fact here's a drawing I made.
He did, yeah, his own drawing of Saturn.
So he did a
was
drawing.
it Saturn he was talking about when he said that telescopically it's the loveliest object in the sky? I think it was.
Oh yeah, telescopically. And it is. Now, Ryan, have you looked at Saturn through a telescope?
I have not.
I've got an 8-inch telescope at home, and so I bought it for my daughter. And I have to tell you, the first time I saw Saturn through that telescope was an incredible moment. It's an incredible thing. It looked 100% like Saturn.
Wow.
I think maybe telescopically it is the most beautiful thing you can see in the night sky. There's nothing else that looks quite like it.
I think he was a liar.
But there's a beautiful kind of, there's a beautiful energy, there's a beautiful kind of, when you consider that this show is about visualising, describing the universe, the galaxy and the universe, something as vast as that, there's a beautiful kind of homely energy about this show, kind of homemade, homely energy about it. He shows a picture at one point. He says, on that black, that massive black on the right of the picture is actually an inconvenient chimney, he said. So so that's the kind of homemade kind of vibe.
Al
of the
Gore
thing.
film that he made ages ago. Inconvenient chimney.
Yeah, that's what it was, wasn't it? That's what it was. And a lot of real nice matter-of-fact stuff film where he's saying, a constellation has no meaning at all, actually. It has no real meaning. It's just how we kind of recognise things. It's lovely stuff. And I could feel myself when I was watching it. And I don't know if it is this age? Because as a wee guy, I would have been like, I'd have just been thinking to myself, we fucking know. We know there's Pegasus. We know, we know it's up there. I see it, look up. I just wouldn't get it. But now I think with age and with wisdom, I'm like, this is a beautiful thing, this is a beautiful thing and fascinating. It has this kind of Gardener's World energy about it. I like watching Gardener's World nowadays because it has this gentle energy about it now.
It's significant that these are like small budget, small crew shows that are worked on by people who are interested in what they're making.
Passionate.
A lot of stuff. I mean, not so much like content that you'll find online, but a lot of like broadcast stuff. It's just people doing roles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's not as much passion. I don't know.
And it has a real sense. Patrick Moore was always very focused on bringing astronomers together, and particularly hobby astronomers and kind of casual astronomers and home astronomers. He wanted to bring all them together, and there was a phone line you could call. I'm going to ring it actually. As this guy
39p a minute though, mind. So just be careful.
So let me see. I'm going to. It was 39p a minute back then. What would that be now? Fuck's sake. 0891 800 330. So this is the Sky at Night phone line I'm ringing.
Oh, you're doing that. I'll just.
For fuck's sake. So that's no operating anymore, which is a shame. Imagine Patrick Moore had answered that. If Patrick Moore had answered that,
that'd be great.
We would get likes and subscribers, mate. Like you would.
I wouldn't count on it, mate. I wouldn't count on it.
He's a moon guy, by the way. It's funny because
Is
Patrick
that a new
Moore was all
term or something.
he was all about the moon. And it's funny because in this episode, because it's autumn, he's all about like, get that fucking moon out the road because you're wanting to see these stars, you know what
He
I
was
mean?
making me jealous by his knowledge of this guy because he was talking about the things that he was able to see, and he could you can see from visualising those things just with his eyes. You know, winter's coming.
That picture, of course, is a false colour picture, but it does show the form of M33, a looser spiral than the Andromeda spiral, rather further away and considerably smaller. It's about 2.3 million light years away from us. It is worth finding. Now, also from the square of Pegasus, we can locate the most southerly of the first magnitude stars ever to be seen from Britain.
So,
did you like it?
I did like it. Of course I liked it.
Yeah.
Of course I liked it. It was a lovely thing, and I thought... And also, space, all the vastness of time, space doesn't change that much. You know, I would say maybe I'm wrong, some astronomers could correct me here, but on a cosmological level, I would imagine that, you know, a show about the night sky from 30, 40 years ago is yesterday, practically, you know, in terms of the night sky. So all this information is still valid. The Sky at Night still runs, and I watched an episode of the current Sky at Night as well, and it's a lot more, you know, it's not just a Patrick, you know, it's not just a guy sitting in a chair talking to you anymore. It's like a magazine show. It's still great though. It still has a really kind of innocent and inquisitive energy about it that's really nice and passionate feeling. So it's nice to see as well that show still runs. I kind of wasn't aware it was still running.
I mean, you know, I knew they tried it with a new host. There's a guy with the floppy yellow hair, yellow blonde. I don't know what's happening. Patrick Stewart.
There's a number of presenters, a team of presenters. So obviously,
they probably just never mind.
So
let's say something about fat again, but I won't bother.
Let's get into it a wee bit.
His suits are huge, but
Patrick Moore met in his lifetime Orville Wright, who one of the first aviators, right? For the Wright brothers, right? He also met Yuri Gagarin, who was the first man in space. And he also met Neil Armstrong, who was the first man on the moon. That's pretty impressive stuff. He was a great xylophone player.
Oh, I forgot about that.
He was a wonderful xylophone player, was often on TV playing the xylophone. He was a single man who lived with his mother.
Didn't know
that. Because he had a fiancée at one point and she was bombed during the war in 1943.
She was bombed?
Yeah, she was killed. She was an ambulance woman, I think, and she was killed during the war in 1943. And Patrick Moore, to the day he died, hated the Germans.
Good man.
He says the only good kraut is a dead kraut.
He didn't say that.
He did say that.
Patrick Moore said that. I never said Patrick Stewart again. Patrick Moore said the only
good kraut is a dead kraut. And he always said, keep an eye on the Germans and the French. He was quite a fan of Enoch Powell.
When was this? To his dying day?
Well, no, at the time, he was massively right-wing. He was massively right-wing.
People swing and things change and beliefs change.
Well, he was very much England for the English. And I feel bad. Obviously,
you can have it. You can fucking have it.
Obviously, he's known for Games Master by much of the demographic that watched this. But
didn't realise you were going to do a hit piece on him.
And
I like the show.
And I have a slight connection with Games Master now, so I feel I'm entitled to say, you know, this is a complicated man, you know, because he was almost certainly a racist.
And nobody would have understood him but his woman get bombed by the Germans.
He's almost certainly a racist. A few people have questioned whether it's true.
Right.
That he had a fiancée that was bombed by the Germans, or whether this was an invented story. He was a homophobe.
I mean, that I don't have any qualms in believing that.
He was very unsympathetic towards AIDS victims, and did actually say, you said, tell me, he didn't say the only good kraut is a dead kraut, But he also said that it's Adam and Eve and no Adam and Steve. He said that as well. He, however, Brian May said he was the most generous and lovely man.
All these things can be true.
All these things can be true. Brian May bought Patrick Moore's house off him and then rented it back to Patrick Moore for pennies.
Why?
Just to give Patrick Moore a big chunk of money so that he would be financially stable and independent in his later years.
There you go.
So he bought his house off him and rented it back to Patrick Moore as like, you know, fucking, I don't know, £10 a week or something, £10 a month. Just to give him. But Brian May loved him. Brian May has always seemed to me like a really nice guy. Brian May, of course, was friends with Freddie Mercury, who died of AIDS. And so there's a man who looks at the stars, who holds a lot of narrow-minded opinions about stuff, but is also kind and generous and loving. And
the show for me now. What's he looking out into space with these stupid attitudes for?
So anyway, so there's all that. And also, he probably thought games were a lot of shite as well. When he was doing Games Master, I think he was only doing it for the money, and he was probably thinking this is a lot of fucking garbage.
He never got interested in it.
No, I don't think so.
Well, that's Games Master ruined now as well. Kurt Cobain blew his brains out in 1994. Also, Fred and Rosemary West were revealed as murderers or whatever they were. That's 1994.
So things are starting to get a wee bit more depressing. That was depressing, the whole Sky at Night thing, and me saying about him being a fan of Enoch Powell and all that. And it's depressing that Kurt Cobain blew his brains out, and it's depressing that Fred West was there. We'll see you next time. Like and subscribe.
Please like and subscribe. What he's wanting? What he's wanting?
Video game content. You've got Fred West, Enoch Powell. Fred West, Enoch Powell. Who else? Clifford. We've mentioned them all. Jimmy Savile still kicking the ball at this time. He's still fucking prowling about.
When was that Thoreau documentary? Late 90s?
Yeah, maybe early 2000s.
I'll look it up.
Listen, this is the 90s. Things are going to get a wee bit darker, I think. I think things are going to get a wee bit darker. Things are going to get a wee bit more complex. And we're going to have some serious conversations about stuff.
Well, then a part 2, I would assume.
Oh, you're definitely doing a part 2. Good night.
Bye. Like and subscribe.
This is hell. This is hell. I am sorry to tell you it never gets better or worse, but you'll get used to it after a spell forever.